It's called the Navika Sagar Parikrama, and it is an expedition the likes of which have never been done by women in India. 6 very brave officers of the Indian Navy are about to embark on the expedition of their lives. It is an attempt to circumnavigate the globe in a tiny boat, the INSV Tarini. It's only about 55 feet long, and we are very, very privileged to have the entire crew with us in the studio. I'm just going to introduce them. Lieutenant Commander Vartika Joshi, good to have you here. Lieutenant Commander Pratibha Jamwal, Lieutenant Commander P. Swati, Lieutenant Aishwarya Bodapati, Lieutenant S. Vijaya Devi, and Lieutenant Payal Gupta. Thank you very much for joining us on NDTV. Commander, let me ask you first. You're from Rishikesh, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Did you ever think that from Rishikesh, from Uttarakhand, you're going to end up in something as huge, as mammoth as this, attempting to go around the globe on a tiny boat?
Never really. I never had this thought in my mind that I would ever get this opportunity to circumnavigate. I've always been, brought up close to a water body, but never got this chance to explore more of the oceans.
Lieutenant Commander Pratibha Jamwal, let me ask you this. I know that you're prepared, you've been practicing for several months now, but what are some of the biggest challenges, the biggest risks as you embark on this huge expedition?
Since the best what we can do is to practice and train the best. But in a circumnavigation, since we are going to face the nature, it's the sea who is going to decide what is going to happen. The biggest challenge which we are going to face is somewhere near Cape Horn, which is south of America, which is the southernmost point which we will be crossing, and it's going to be really cold, and the sea is going to be very rough. So that's probably the difficult part.
And how have you been training for this?
Well, it started in the year of 2014. Otherwise, the idea came up in 2012 that something women officers should do. Like Prime Minister always mentions, and he always focused on women to do something. So it started in 2014, and we were continuously trained for 2.5 years by now, and it's like a long-term commitment, and finally we are about to reach the D-Day.
Tell us a little bit about the boat, the Tarini. She's built in India.
Yes, the Tarini is a completely indigenous built boat. As its predecessor, the iconic INSV Madai. Both the boats are built in India completely, and at Aquarius Shipyard Limited, which is in Goa itself. So the main difference between Madai and Tarini is technologically advanced, and it has got all the state-of-the-art equipment that is latest to the technology that we have till
So
date.
communications technology must be really important also.
Yes.
What are some of the other features of the boat? She must need to be really exceptionally seaworthy in terms of taking on bad weather, high sea states and the like. Is that something that went into a design?
So before being inducted into the Navy itself, the boat has been tested and tried, and once it was certified, then there was an acceptance trial done by the Navy, and then Tarini was inducted into the Navy.
Vijay, tell us a little bit about your training. How are you ready for it now? Are you ready?
Yes, I should say that we all are ready. Like, we have been trained and groomed well by our mentors. And like about training, how it happened is like we all join in different time period. Like the first 3 of them, Lieutenant Commander Vartika Joshi, Pratibha Jamwal and Swati. So 3 of them have joined initially prior to other 3 of us. So we 3 joined together in 2016 after International Fleet Review, which held in Visakhapatnam. After that, we went to Cochin for our basic courses like the Seamanship School, Navigation and Direction Communication School, then SNOM. So the basic training which is required for us for this voyage, we all have been trained. And apart from just theoretical training in the classroom, we have done various sorties and trials. Like we have been to various coastal of India, Vizag, Chennai, Cochin, and then Porbandar. And apart from that, we have been to Mauritius and back twice. Right. Once in INSV Madai and the other in INSV Tarini. Okay. And apart from that, the longest will be we sailed from Goa to Cape Town in South Africa. All 6 of us together. That was the longest sortie. And I think with all this experience and sea practice. I must say that I think we all are trained enough.
Payal, tell us a little bit about the route. You know, we've got a graphic coming up as well.
Yes.
Tell us about the route that you're going to be following.
Okay, so we will be starting from Goa, and the first stopover will be in Australia. Then the next after that stopover will be proceeding toward New Zealand, and the third one is Falkland Islands, and the last one would be the Cape Town. So it is divided.
How long would it take?
It will take around 7 to 8 months, depending upon how much break we'll take on land, and it also depends upon what all work will come up, like if there is some problem on board, so we need to stay more. If that is not there and we are prepared to move on, then we can move faster.
Lieutenant Commander, what is the longest duration that you plan to be at sea in a particular leg?
The longest leg, I would say, will be across the Pacific, which will take approximately 45 to 50 days.
So you're going to be on board 45 to 50 days?
Yes, yes.
Non-stop?
Yes, non-stop.
In a tiny little boat?
Yes, yes, that's true.
And what are the challenges that you would face in a deployment as long as that? I would assume you need to plan out your rations, for example. What are the other things that you need to look out for, assuming the weather is okay?
Apart from weather, there can be, you know, any type of challenges that can come on board. There can be challenges inside the boat as well as external factors like weather, which is beyond our control. That is always there. But the things that are in our control are the challenges that come on board, like breakage of any particular equipment. So we need to know how to fix that thing. There can be any breakage to some electrical equipment, some communication equipment. We can go just out of range coverage area. So all these things we need to cater prior to you know, starting on a expedition, long voyage like this. So we need to be ready for each and everything that the sea throws on us.
At you.
Yes.
Lieutenant Commander Pratibha, let me ask you this. When you tell your friends or your relatives or your well-wishers that, look, I'm going to be away for a while because I'm going around the ocean, the world in a tiny little boat, they must have said, my God, you must be crazy. Why on earth are you doing this? How do you respond to those who say that this is really, really dangerous, really, really potentially risky?
Actually, it's been 2 years now that we have been sailing, and we have sailed extensively. So initially they had apprehensions, they had these questions, but now everybody has quite a confidence on us.
Tell you?
Yes, parents, they'll always be parents, they'll have their concerns, but definitely they are now more confident, they have confidence in us, and moreover they now know that we have sailed a lot. It's been, we have sailed more than 20,000 nautical miles, which is somewhere around 40,000 kilometers. So they have faith in our capabilities. Let's hope.
Pratibha, how important is it to be able to work as a team? You're going to be seeing each other constantly for a very long period of time. Everybody would be working on a shift, I assume. You would have different responsibilities. But the importance of working together at a team, there may be disputes or disagreements which actually happen. But at the end of the day, you need to work as a cohesive team. How important is that a factor in your training and in this expedition?
It is very much important, because when there is an emergency, when there is a weather system which is approaching you, you have to be quick in like 30 seconds. The sea is going to be, the winds are going to be from 0 knots to 30 knots, which is going to affect a lot. So if we are like a team, so I don't need to tell the others what needs to be done. Like the skipper doesn't have to all the time say, this is your job, this is your job, because we are aware, and we've been sailing together for about 1 year from now. So it's like, I mean, everybody knows what is their job, and they perform. So that is how the teamwork comes into place. Otherwise, apart from that, everybody is individually given one particular task on the boat. If something goes wrong.
For the entire journey, for the entire circumnavigation?
Yes, but nevertheless, everybody is capable of doing every job on the boat.
Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? For example, what is your specialization on the boat?
See, when you look at the specialization, with the Navy, we are all specialized in our own cadres. But once we joined sailing, we had to be specialized in each and every aspect that is related to sailing. Whether it comes to the aspects of sailing, like adjusting the boat to the direction and the force from where the wind is coming. We also anticipate what repairs might come up. So we stock up accordingly, and we have to be trained in each and every aspect, whether it is engine, electrical equipments, repairing our kitchen equipments, everything. So each and every one is specialized in all these aspects, so that we can help out each other if any challenge comes up.
Lieutenant, how do you manage with water? Do you have some sort of a reverse osmosis system that gives you water? What about food? It must be prepackaged food. Is that how you would carry on the long stretches?
Yes, we have reverse osmosis plant, RO plant on our boat. Apart from that, we have fresh water tank around 600 liters. And apart from that, also we carry some water bottles which are calculated. We have a specific way of calculating which goes throughout the world. So accordingly, we stock our fresh water, and apart from that, we have the dry rationing parts, which is the maximum food that we carry on board, because fresh water food it doesn't last for long, maximum 20 days.
Right.
Not more than that. So we try to stock up more of dry ration. Apart from that, we carry some tin food or packed food which is ready to eat.
Right.
Just boil water, pour in, then add the difficult sea state. That time we require those kind of ready to eat food. So
I would assume, Payal, that when you're out at sea for as long as you will be, you really want to sort of halt whenever the halts do come up, just to eat something better, to have a proper meal. I'm sure that would be something you'd be looking forward to.
Yes, that happens. Like usually the junk food which we don't which is not available on board, because the normal food, that is rice, dal and other things, that is all we can cook and we can make on board. But the junk food, basically we all crave for that.
All right, so no comfort food as such on board, it's all rationed out.
Yes.
What about the support that you receive from different navies? Because and God forbid, if something were to go wrong, then who would back you? Who would support you? How does that work?
So there are a lot of search and rescue regions which are there, and wherever we are going, all the oceans that we are crossing, those areas need to be aware well in advance that we are going to cross those areas. So once they are in picture, they are aware that we would be crossing somewhere. We would be updating our positions twice in a day. So they will be aware that we are crossing that area, and in case if an emergency is there or we need some assistance, they can launch an aircraft, or maybe some nearby ships can be launched. But as far, if you see, during a circumnavigation, we would be pretty far from the coast, and any nearest help would take a long time to reach us. So that is where our training would really come in handy.
So your last question to you, Lieutenant Commander Pratibha, you are out there all by yourselves for such a long stretch. What does it feel like to sort of get on this? Are you worried? Are you excited? What is it?
See, it's like we are very much used to the sea. We've been sailing quite from a long time. But every time when you get back on land, there is some sort of, your mind is getting troubled. So there is something called a peace time. So every time when we go out, the first day when we sail out, that is like, yes, you are into the peace land. Now let's think about our own selves. So it's a great pleasure actually. It's not pain at all. That only comes with when you start enjoying it. And that's how we've learned. And it's quite enjoyable.
And just a final question to you, because we are completely out of time. What do you tell parents, or what do you tell young people who are saying, look, this adventure business in the armed forces, it's scary, I'd much rather like a desk job and it's safer that way. I mean, what would you tell those people?
It's basically an individual choice. You can't force adventure to anybody, because it's totally out of your choice. If you don't like it, you can't do it. It takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of hard work. So if you are not into it, I suggest you don't do it.
Well, you all of you certainly are into adventure, and it's going to be an incredible challenge. It's been a real honor speaking to all of you, and good luck with this incredible expedition. Good luck indeed. Well, there you have it. Brave hearts of the Indian Armed Forces, of the Indian Navy, involved very soon in circumnavigating the globe in a tiny boat. We're completely out of time. Goodbye.